So hey guys, it's the Midwest Prepper here, and today I'm going to be going over how to properly start your tomato plants and how to properly transplant them as well, because some people don't know the little ins and outs tricks of actually doing tomato plants. And let's just go ahead and get right into it. It's fairly simple. Alright, so these 4 different pots here that you see, these were all planted on the same exact day, and they were actually the same exact height whenever I transplanted them into their individual pots. Okay, so starting here, these are all Romas, by the way, Heirloom Tomatoes. This is what they look like now. I think I planted these on, it doesn't say on there, but I planted these February 25th. And this one here, I actually transplanted into this big pot about 20 days ago or so, and you can definitely tell the size difference between these. So if you look here, you see the diameter of that compared to the diameter of this, and how much more bushy it is compared to these, because these here are getting a little bit root bound on the bottom, in which you can transplant this into the ground, and this whole stem here, each of these little fibrous hairs, see if you can see them here, I'll try to zoom in. Okay, see all those little fibrous hairs? Every single one of those will grow a root. So, if you take a look at it, that's a lot of roots that this one plant can actually put on. Now, some people may be wary of this because they may not want, to get it too down deep, maybe because they think, oh well, it won't put on tomatoes as quickly, or something may go wrong with them. Actually, to be honest, it makes them grow much faster, and it actually allows for them to put on bigger tomatoes, and also allows for them to put on tomatoes much quicker than others, because you get more nutrients and more water just in general up that stem, because you have more surface area bringing in more nutrients, like I said. So whenever you do transplant these, if you're just transplanting them from the store straight in, I always recommend to transplant at least halfway up the stem here, which then you would have to take off these little small stems here, and then with these here you can actually just put these straight in, into the ground, and then these can actually grow out plants. But the possibility of this little one here growing out a plant is quite slim. But maybe one like this right up here that has a little bit more, foliage to them, it may actually grow out a pretty nice little tomato plant. So either mound them up, or just dig the hole really deep and then plant them up to about right here, just below this main branching right here. Now with mine, my plan is to take mine and snip these off here with my scissors and make a nice clean cut, and then plant these directly into the ground next to this tomato plant, in which I will bury this one about up to right about here on. Now this is already a 6-inch deep pot, and I'm going to bury about another 6 inches or so. So I'm going to have 12 foot of roots in the ground for surface area, and this is the best way to get your tomatoes to look basically like a tree, because they're just going to keep growing and growing and growing. And especially if you have like a patio tomato, it's also really good to give it a little bit more strength, and so it won't fall over as easily. You still may have to get a cage to put around them as well. But these are all Roma tomatoes, all planted the same exact day, all the same exact size as what these were whenever I transplanted them in. So these have only grown about maybe an inch or two in the past 10 days. These have doubled in size in the past 10 days, and I will show you some pictures as well in the video as a overlay, because it is quite crazy what they look like now. Okay, so now that you saw that, so say if you wanted to really transplant these, if you get them from like the store or something, any home improvement store sells tomatoes, anywhere sells tomatoes basically. So just go up to them and be like, hey, do you guys have any extra pots? Approximately about 6 inches deep. Plants fall out of them, plants die. They just take these pots and then basically recycle them, or even throw them away. Walmart throws them away. We don't recycle. At Walmart, I used to work there for 2 years, so I know this. So basically, this right here is just the same exact size pots as what my other ones here are. Okay, so we're going to show you how to add the soil to them and some soil amendments or nutrient additives that I like to put into the soil. Okay, so you may be thinking, why do you have instant dry milk? Well, tomatoes love calcium, in which calcium is in some instant dry milk. It's a lot easier than using any type of fertilizer, and it's much cheaper actually. That was about $4. Yeah, great value. You can get them just about anywhere, any discount store. And this right here is just some garden soil. Now I know it looks a little bit dry right now. That's because my smart self took the lid off of the bucket that I hold this in, and I forgot to put it back on. But it's still pretty moist down there in the bottom. Alright, so as you can tell in here, these little things, that's to feed up to like 6 months or something with this garden soil additive. But we're just going to go ahead and sprinkle in some of our stuff here. And basically, you don't really need a lot of this at all. But just be cautious, because if you're planning on putting these plants inside, they can get a nice little smell and stench to them, in which it doesn't smell that good, and your family thinks that you fart a lot. So we're just going to go ahead and mix this in here. And you can also add your, Epsom salt or whatever you want to with it. And I also recommend cleaning this out with like a 10% hydrogen peroxide solution, to just get rid of anything that may be down in there, like bacterial wise, that may hurt your plants. But I'm okay, because this is mine that I got because I buy them. So gonna go and I think about 2 scoops is perfectly fine for this one. But so you do want to put some on the bottom, about quarter of the way up or so, just enough to give the roots on the very bottom to spread out and grow a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and take our Roma tomato plant here, or any tomato plant, doesn't matter, and we're just going to squeeze these bottoms out. It's really hard to do this with one hand, guys. I broke my stand the other day. As you can tell here, really nice root systems to these, but they are getting a bit root bound. So I'm going to stick mine in there. And actually, I could probably dig this out more. I could probably just take a little bit of the soil out, because it can still go down a lot farther than what it already is. So we're just going to take our handy dandy scissors here and snip off these bottom 2 leaves and dump her in there. Alright, so now as you can tell, good look here, that is about halfway up the stem. It's going to be planted in there. So now we're just going to come right over here. And you can either fill it full with your shovel or whatever, whatnot. It doesn't really matter. You can't really hurt a tomato plant unless you break it off right at its stem where there's no other leaves on it. And you're just going to fill her on up. It's very, very basic, very simple. Just going to kind of pull it to the middle a little bit. Pat it down around there. You add a little bit more on top here. And then you should be good to go. And then what I like to do is I like to get some of my mixture over here. This is really, really good mixture. This is actually chicken manure and just some rainwater that I get, as in just like a rain catchment system or whatever. And I just water this sucker in, get it nice and drenched. Make sure it's real good. Real nice and lifelike, you know what I mean? And make sure it's going to get watered in real nice. That's to get out all the air bubbles and to allow for the roots to start spreading out. And even after this, because your soil will settle down, and then you can add some more soil to the top as well. I'll put that back down in there. As it starts getting there, then we can come back over here and get about another half a little scoop. And just dump it right on top of that. Spread it around a bit. And that looks good. Now wherever this vine touches the soil, it's going to grow out roots. So within, you know, five days or so, it'll start to look like this. And that's going to be amazing. These plants are going to thrive. It's going to be really nice. So thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. Sorry I'm so right up in the camera. I really need to buy myself a stand so I can do this a little bit more professionally. Like I said, mine broke. So thanks guys for watching, and you have a good day.